Fellow sweepers, I want to tell you about my experience in Madrid on September 28th. You probably know that after many years of absence, the Minesweeper World Championship has been brought back and it was a huge success. Royale, one of the organizers, said that it was the most attended World Championship and the first to also host a player from the very distant Chinese community. Said player also won both the World Championship and the Court Cup on September 27th. I participated, but of course I'm not fast enough to compete with the best speed players. However, on the day after, there was something I was really looking forward to: the Minesweeper Royale. Basically, players were free to play for 4 hours and compete in a number of categories. Mastery was not one of them due to time constraints, but there was still a win streak. I often refer to win streak as a very much luck-based category, but guessing skill is often required to get good results. So I was kind of all in on win streak from the start. And of course, I was aiming for one of those juicy podium spots that would grant me some prize money. At 10:30 AM the 4 hours start, and I immediately get to work. After just 13 minutes, luck starts to shine on me for my first win streak. I'm very pleased with game 1. I got this guessing spot and immediately saw the 4 percentile, which brought me to this endgame. Now, even though progress here means 25% chance to get this double 50-50, I still think this is the best move. Finally, I win this game and go to game 2, and the guesses keep coming. Now, here I should have probably gone for the 8% right away. Instead, I went for progress, but got stuck. Then again, I went for the breaker, even though this 8 percentile was better, but no big mistakes still. I found a 6 and finally go for the best move, but still no luck. Then don't be too tempted by this, because progress chances are slim. In my opinion, it's better to go for this. But still, no luck. At the 5th guessing spot, my brain says it's too much, and since density has dropped, I go for the corner, find an opening, and after a mine count at the end, I win game 2. Not much to say about game 3, just a lucky 50-50 survival and a very big mine count I quadruple checked. I win game 3, and then the RNG gods go easy on me. I win game 4 and 5 with no guesses needed. Feels nice. At this point, I think I remember being at 5 and everyone else was at 2. I start game 6 and get to this guessing spot immediately. And I notice someone spectating over my shoulder. I don't remember much about the exchange I had with him, but it was clear to me that he too was interested in the guessing aspect of the game. His name will come up again in this video. Die kleine Kabuter. Anyway, let's talk about this guessing spot. I was undecided between these two. This gives 51 probability of progress, while this one, counting the breaker, gives only 44. Although I think there's something to be said about the quality of the progress. Let me know which would you choose. Anyway, we get stuck, and again, counting the breaker, these two are the only choices. I end up going for this one, and here I make the first clear mistake. This is clearly better than this, but okay, the gods are merciful so far. Actually, I shouldn't really say that because they seem to not stop throwing guessing spots in my way. Here I click the best exposed tile, although I'm pretty sure a corner click would have been better. Then, another guess. I swear this game gave me some white hairs. Pretty sure I chose the best move here, but if you want to argue that this is clearly better, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Finally, we get some progress and arrive at this endgame. This move was pretty standard. We get stuck again, and I do the worst move imaginable. Now, you might say, hey, it's fine, it's pretty safe, honestly, but what I missed is that this is a zero information move. There's only one number this cell can be, and it is a 2, And that too does not help in any way. I'm not done doing mistakes, by the way. Instead of going for the corner here, I miscount and risk a 33% tile. And the gods are like, well, you had your luck, enough. And I blow game 6. This is probably the most consequential mistake I've ever done in a Minesweeper game. Now, about 40 minutes later, we can start to analyze some other competitors' games. And it just happens to be Die kleine Kabouter, which in case you're wondering in Dutch means the little gnome, or the little elf. Game 1 only has one guessing spot. He doesn't really see this move, but the thing is game 1 is less about doing optimal moves and more about speed. That being said, it's better to risk one cell at a time instead of two simultaneously. Game 2 is no guessing until this endgame in which there are plenty of correct moves and he goes for one of the correct ones. Game 3 is where it becomes clear to me that this guy knows what he's doing. He first finds this 6% move very fast, then goes for another very safe move. I know there are safer moves, but I don't know how useful they might have been. He finds a 2 that makes this position a mine count, making him win game 3. No notable guesses in game 4. He does find a fake 50-50 at the end and chooses correctly. And now game 5. In the first guessing spot, he went for this safe move, although probably one of these other 3 would have been better. He then finds the safest move, but with no luck. And here he goes with a very high-risk progress-oriented move. Maybe not the best, but surely one of the better. The move then pays off, and he gets this endgame, and plays flawlessly the next 2 guessing spots, making him go to game 6. He blows up in the opening section, and fortunately for me, his average time was lower than mine, so I'm still sitting in first place. 1 hour goes by, 2 hours go by, and I'm still surprisingly sitting at first place. With only half an hour left, another player comes to visit. None other than Endurance World Record holder Koro comes to me, and since he feels confident that he won Density and the Arena already, he informs me that he's going for win streak. That was bad. Koro is not only a super good no hints mastery player, but he's also super fast. I inform Evan Gao, who at the time was sitting in 3rd place with a 4 win streak, just to share the fear with someone else. Koro quickly got to 4 win streak, beating Evan's time, but fortunately blew on game 5 in an opening click. The next attack for the crown, however, came from somewhere unexpected. Let's take a look at the win streak of Dave the Epic 04. Right off the bat, game 1 taught me something I didn't know. Take a look at this position. Normally I would try to complete the board to know whether this configuration holds 3 or 4 bombs, and click accordingly. The thing I never realized, and that Dave clearly knows, is that there is a move that is optimal in both those cases, namely this one. Either completing the board in the case that there are 4 bombs left, or guessing a 50-50 in the case that there are 3 bombs left. You want to guess this way to save time in case you blow up. So I'm already impressed. Game 1 is finished with no further guesses, and same goes for game 2 and game 3. Game 4 goes by with a mine count, and in game 5 we get to see that Dave also knows his opening theory, wasting no time choosing the correct moves in this common opening. He gets the win, and at just 17 minutes from the end, he starts the decisive game 6. The atmosphere is filled with excitement, and he quickly becomes surrounded by a crowd of sweepers that heard the news. This is for the big money. He starts the game and works his way to this endgame. Guess number 1, he chooses the correct move. Next guess is much less optimal, but I want to be clear, you'll see in a video clip very shortly that Dave's playing conditions were not optimal. There was a crowd to entertain. There was no time to analyze 10 minutes, killing the excitement of the crowd. The next guess was very good, but instead of clicking both these tiles, he clicked only one, missing logic and risking a 50% bound tile in a solvable board. I have to give it up for the spectating sweepers that did not backseat in that moment. The urge one must feel to see logic in this situation and not say anything must be painful. But for showing good heart, the gods grant Dave the win. And after applauding, the sweepers let him know of the missed logic in this beautiful clip that Dave shared with me.
Yes, but the best, bro.
Let's go, dude. You're getting that money. That's how. 2 mines. Okay. Oh. You're getting that money.
That's 6.
That's 6. When you said there's no logic, that's for sure. You did have one.
There was logic.
Yes. Oh my god. Let's go. 7.
Game 7 is played flawlessly by Dave, but the Minesweeper gods say enough and put an end to this legendary win streak. I had been dethroned, and my plays were getting very bad, so I decided to call it quit and wait the last minute, a little worried that Koro might get my second place. But what this competition has taught me is that the attacks for the podium come in unexpected directions, and in very unexpected forms. The Dutch were back. This time the player's name is Soepkip. That means soup hen in Dutch. Now I could sit here and criticize his guessing, but then again he's not really a mastery player. Sometimes you don't need to be tactical to win, sometimes a good strategy is all you need. And Soepkip formulated a good strategy, alright. He played intermediate. And while everyone thought the standings were almost set in stone, Soepkip won 23 games in a row and dethroned me from second place, making Dave a little worried for a second. Now, with 12 minutes late, I just prayed that Koro didn't beat my 5. And fortunately, that is exactly what would end up happening. With great relief, I congratulated the other players, and after the award ceremony, we just got to hang out at the venue for hours. I skipped lunch and almost didn't feel it. It was super fun times. Oh, I got to meet Obelus, the very sweeper after which the homonymous principle is named, and had fun collecting signatures on my poster. And after a while, Koro comes to me and something happens, something that grants a video on his own actually. Hopefully you enjoyed me yapping about my Madrid minesweeping experience. Happy sweeping everyone! I'll see you on the next one. Bye!